going on?
I'm a man who do what he got to do. I am a man who won't let me change. I need a boy who should with you, so we gotta do it.
What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. Feel free to hit the subscription button, the notification bell, share this with your friends, family, as well as your followers. So let's get into today's video, all right? If you've seen the previous video, I told you it was going to be a part 2, a chapter 2. And this one is called Any Regrets. As you guys are well aware, I used to work at Kroger. If you've seen my video, I explained to you guys why I no longer work at Kroger. If you want to see or watch that full video, I will probably have it in the comments section, okay? But this is Any Regrets. And really, to be honest with you, this is, it's like one of those type of videos where you want to know what that person's thinking or what they're doing after their situation. Any regrets? Do you have any regrets? If you could do it all over again, would you do things a little bit differently? All that jazz is going to be in this video. Any regrets? So, like I said, I used to work at Kroger, no longer work there. I work someplace else. Starting over can be very challenging, both mentally and physically, because you're so used to doing a job for so long and consistently doing it. You pretty much know how to conserve energy, how to do tasks, how to complete tasks, things of that nature. You just pretty much have your own system at your own job where you just clock in, you do it, you do your job and clock out, okay? When you're going to a new job, those tactics, those strategies you used at your previous job, they do not apply to your new job because there are a different set of challenges at your new job. And the first thing is there's a learning point. There's a learning curve. Of course, when you work somewhere, there's a lot of experience you can take from your previous job and try to apply it to your new job. But, you're still you're basically starting all over. You're relearning things that you may or may not know. And you have to figure it out. You have to figure out your own strategy. You have to figure out your own system. And it's a trial by error thing, and sometimes you may not get it figured out on your first week of work or your second week of work. I felt like at my new job, and I've been there for over 4 months, I felt like month 2 where I got my bearings straight, because people don't train people like they used to. I remember when you started a new job, you go through orientation. They tell you things you can do, things you can't do, what your job is, what your job title is, what you're responsible for, what you're not responsible for. We're going to have someone staying right next to you and train you for maybe a week, and then we're just going to take the training wheels off and let you do your thing. At this new job, all of those things I mentioned happened, except when the person was by my side, seeing what I was doing and trying to train me, he wasn't really training me, okay? Matter of fact, he was telling me things that you should not do. I remember my first conversation with him. My first conversation is, well, around here, we don't worry about trying to complete our tasks. We take our time. And to me, that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, because I'm a type of person, whatever job I'm doing, I want to complete the task, okay? I want to complete the task and move on to the next task. And, the person that they had me, that was supposed to be training me, was teaching me how to just slowly do my job and just do one task or maybe 2 tasks and that's it. And I'm just not built that way. When I clock in, okay, I want to hurry up and do this task because I'm ready to do the next task. Okay. And it wasn't just him, it was like other workers there. So right off the bat, they just had a bad work ethic. And, I had nothing against the guy. It's just, I didn't really learn a lot from him. Like how they read tags. See, at my old job, you just look at the serial number on the product, and then you look at the serial number on the tag, and that will tell you, okay, this product matches this tag. Well, at this new place, not only you have to look at the serial number on the tag and on the product, but then there's a top number above the tag, and you have to see what number it could be. A 1, it could be up from a 1 to 40. And if you scan it, it'll tell you it goes to tag 3. So I guess that's a quicker way to put stuff on the shelf. And to be honest with you, that's a better way of doing it. That way you won't put the wrong item up underneath the wrong tag. Okay. But see, he didn't teach me that. All he taught me, he didn't even really teach me. He just said, hey, that goes there and this goes here. Lucky for me, I had some experience to know you have to match the tag of the product to the tag on the shelf. Okay. He didn't even go that far with me. Okay. And he had a bunch of shortcuts. He had a bunch of shortcuts to get somewhat done. And I remember my first day, he put me in an aisle and he said, well, this is the smallest aisle. You should be able to get this aisle done. And when you get this aisle done, you come over there and help me, which to me, I always help my partner. So, I said, okay. So I got done reasonably fast and I went over there and helped them. The next night, he put me in the aisle he was in, which had the most items, and he went to the small aisle. But here was the difference. It took him all day to work that small aisle. And it took me like less than 6 hours. It actually took me 4 hours to get the bigger aisle done. And not only that, he would slide merchandise that he had to work and put it on my dolly. So not only I was doing my aisle, I was technically doing his aisle as well. Okay. So I was saying to myself, what should I do? Like, should I just not say nothing and just go along with it? Or should I report it? But I was saying to myself, if I report it, then I don't want to be like a snitch. Or if I report it, I don't want to be like one of those like people that they label at work. Oh, you better be careful what you do around here because he gonna tell the boss on you and stuff like that. So I said to myself, let me report it. So I told my supervisor about it and I told him what was going on. And, I'm thinking, okay, me and you having this conversation, maybe he's going to probably go over there and say, hey, just to let you, I know you pretty much know how to do it because you've been here long, but I'm just going to follow up on you. You have to do this and then that, and then you're responsible for this and you're responsible for that. Now, he should be smart enough to know that I said something to him, or he may not been smart enough to know. Okay, but I just felt like if he would have came across that way, I think he would have appreciated it more. Okay, instead, we was in a meeting and he just outed him out in the meeting. And I'm going like, what the? Okay, you picked the wrong time in the wrong place to say something to him. And when he outed him out in the meeting in front of all of us, he immediately looked at me. And then from that point on, me and his relationship was rocky at best. Okay, he would not say nothing to me. Okay, so I just still came in, did my job, put my blinders on, just kept doing my job. And I can just tell that, he wanted to say something to me. But then I said to myself, I'm not going to entertain anything, like any interactions with him. Like, because I also noticed about him, when you try to explain things to him, he's very argumentative and he's very defensive. And sometimes you have to stop and go, hey, I'm not, I'm not, your boss, or I'm not trying to get you in trouble or anything. I'm just saying, maybe, if you think about it, doing it this way. He was very quick to cut you off. And, he's very argumentative. Okay. And you can easily pick that up. So I just left him alone. I left him be. So after a while working there, management started noticing. They're like, wow, y'all getting done a lot quicker. Okay. And they said, you're really talking to me, you're really getting your job done. Okay. So, then they started experimenting, moving him someplace else and giving me somebody else. They gave me another person that used to work there. And me and him, we were cool. Matter of fact, he let me work the smaller owl, and he worked the bigger owl because he said he was more familiar with the owl with the most product on it. I said, cool. I'm not gonna argue with you about it. Go. If you like it, I love it. Okay. Man, we would get done super fast. Like, we would get that whole order done before 1 o'clock. So then we'll have time to, if things that don't belong in the aisle, we can take it off the shelf. We can zone. We can do a better zone. We can do the end caps, and then we can clean up. And if someone needs help someplace else, we can go help them. Okay. So they started noticing that. So yeah, like I would work with him for like a couple of weeks, and then they'll bring him we'll just call him Clay. They'll bring Clay back. Notice that we're barely getting done. Like, it takes us all day to get done. Then they'll move Clay back to another department. We'll just call and put the other guy there. We will get done mad quick. So they're putting 2 together. They're putting 2 plus 2 together. And it's definitely not equaling 8, okay? They're putting 2 plus 2 together, and they're realizing, okay, they're getting done, and they're getting done early, and they don't have a lot of back stock. But when we put Clay there, it takes him 8 hours to get his owl done, and we got plenty of back stock. So they just eventually just kept him in another department. Now, he told me it was his choice to get out of the department. I think it was more to it than that. Okay, so that other than that fiasco, I really haven't had any issues or any problems with the supervisors, the department heads, the managers, the assistant managers, and it took me a while to get out of this mindset, because when I was at Kroger, when you're talking to them, it's almost like you have to prove to them what's going on. Okay. And it was almost like you have to convince them in a way. At this new location, I would tell them, and then when I get into trying to explain it further, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. I have never been around, and like I said, I've been working for Kroger for a while. I have never been around a situation like that where you can get things resolved so quickly and everyone is working together. I'm not trying to say it's all peaches and cream at my new location. I'm not here to tell you guys that, oh, well, everything's going right here and everything was going wrong at Kroger. Are there some pros and cons at my new place? Yes. Were there pros and cons at Kroger? Yes. Okay. But out of the two, it's like night and day. But yeah, so I've been there for like almost 4 months, and I've been noticing for every hour, for every day, for every week, and for every month, which has been 4 months, slowly but surely, I'm not even thinking about Kroger anymore. It's like a distant memory. I can barely remember the people I used to work with or work for. As a matter of fact, the only time I can remember anybody, if I had to, like I said, replay the video about me quitting Kroger. That's the only way I can remember, any of these characters' names, okay, or any of their stories. And now at this new location, life's good. Life is extremely good. There's a possibility of me getting a promotion. I done passed my probationary period. Management, they really like me. The assistant managers like me. But things I trusted at Kroger or did at Kroger, I'm no longer doing that here. Like when I was at Kroger, I was super friendly. I would socialize a lot. I would still get my work done. Don't get it twisted and confused. But I would socialize a lot. I would help people. Like if you're stuck in an aisle and you need help, I would literally go. You wouldn't have to ask me. I would just fly over there and help you. I would take on more work. Like I would come in at 9 at night and I would unload the perishable truck. I would unload the grocery truck, the drug GM truck. I would load the salvage truck. I would get all the pallets together, stack them up, and roll them and put them on the trailer. So I would take on more work, plus get my work done in my original department. So I would take on those tasks, okay? And I was doing it, and I wasn't expecting acknowledgement. I wasn't expecting appreciation. I was kind of expecting how important and how valuable I can be for that company. And I never got that from any of the managers, the store manager, the assistant manager. I didn't even get that from my supervisor. I didn't get that from no one. Even my frozenly, he would give me a fake half-hearted, I appreciate what you did, but other than that, that's it. So yeah, I have simply moved on. So that's pretty much it for this video. That's pretty much it with Kroger. I'm wiping my hands of them. Okay, but guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag on boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from Coast to Coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.